Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be turning this 11-gram gold button that I have melted down from fine gold that I've collected over the past year, and I'm going to be turning it into a gold ring by only using hand tools. So sit back, relax and enjoy and watch the process happen. Okay guys, so for this project of making this gold ring, obviously these are a few of your tools. So you're going to need a hammer for molding out the gold. You're also going to need something for the gold to be melted in at the start. So you can use this crucible. As you can see, this one's been used quite a lot. You can also use a potato, and that's a bit primitive, but it does work, and I've done it in the past. But yeah, you're also going to need a gas torch and a flint for the torch, unless it has a flint already inside for it. So these are the last tools that you're going to need. So you've got a drill, you've got some files, some sandpaper, pair of pliers, I've got a dolly pot there, and I've also got a 16mm socket that's the size of my ring finger to make the right size for the gold. I've also got a bit of polishing compound to go with the buffing wheel, and that'll be the last part. So guys, what I'm going to be using today for making the mold is I'm actually going to be using some kinetic sand. I know it's not the right stuff for the job, like professionals out there that do castings and all that sort of stuff, they use green sand for this sort of stuff. But as this video goes, I'm actually doing this with just stuff that you're going to find around the house. So you never know, your kids might have had it for a present and it's not being used anymore, so just reusing what you've got. So anyways, what I'm going to be doing is I'm actually going down a size. I'm actually going down, instead of a 5mm, I'm going down to a 4mm to make the rod a little bit longer to work with. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put it right in the center, and I've made actually a cone shape into the middle, so if the gold does like hit the side, it's going to pour back into the hole anyways. But yeah, so I'm going to put that in there, and then that's going to sit in there. I'm then going to take this out, so then it's ready for the gold to go in its place. So that's ready to go, and then I will get the rest of the stuff for melting the gold, and then I'll be right back. Okay guys, so I've went and got a metal bowl to protect the wood from the heat. I've also went and got another pair of pliers for helping pour the mold. I've taken the drill bit out of the mold, so it's ready to rock and roll. I've just got to melt down the gold and pour it in, and we'll get gold round bar out of it. So let's do this thing. Right, so the gold has now been poured into the mold, and I'm going to let that sit for about a minute, and then I will then take it out of the mold. So be back in a minute. Right, so now that the gold has been sitting in there for a minute and a half, it should be now solidified. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the pliers, and now I'm going to go down where I placed the hole, where the gold was poured in, and I'm going to try and pull the gold out. And there it is. Nice, beautiful. A nice, beautiful long gold bar for us to start molding into a long strip of gold and then bend it into a ring. So let's get on with that. So at the start of the video I told you guys that I was going to be using a dolly pot. The reason why I've got a dolly pot is because, once again, it's just whatever you got at home. So for me as a prospector, I have a dolly pot for crushing up rocks. So what I've just done is I've gone and flipped it over to use the back side, and I'm going to use this for forging out the gold into a nice long strip. So let's get on with that and see how we go. Right, so because when you start working with gold and you keep hammering it, it's actually work hardening it. So you can only get to a certain point and then it's too hard to keep bashing with the hammer because it won't do anything. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to heat this back up and then we're going to let it cool down, and it's going to become malleable again, and then we can keep going, and that's what we're going to do over this whole process. Right, so I've been doing a bit more hammering and I've got it to roughly a decent length to go around the 16mm, because as you can see on the table I've marked it out and it's pretty close. Now because it's like that, I want to now start flattening it down so it makes it a wider ring. And what this is going to do is when I'm flattening it down, it is also going to extend a little bit. So once it's extended, then what I'll do is I will mold it around the 16mm socket, and then I will cut off the excess on both sides, and then I will fill in the gap with some more gold, and then we'll go from there. Hey guys, so I've messed up a little bit. I didn't realize that my camera had turned off, so I've been going through flattening this all down, flattening down the ring, getting it all sized and putting it around the 16mm socket, and looked back at the phone and realized that I wasn't videotaping. So Yeah, sorry about that. That was a mess up on my end. But yeah, anyways, so I've got it sized now. So it's ready to be bent back over, and then I'm going to use the same gold that I had cut off. I'm going to flatten this down so that it's nice and thin, and then I'm going to use that as a filler piece. So I'll videotape that, I'll make sure I do, yeah, and we'll get on with this. Sound good? Right, let's do this. Right, so now, as you can see, I've got the ring in my hand. I'm going to then move it over, make sure everything's all nice and flat. It's all good, make sure it's all nice and symmetrical all the way around. Go from there. Oop, too much. There we go. So that's that. So I've got that ready to go. I'm actually going to flatten down this piece here of the gold, and then I'm going to cut slices off of it to use as a filler piece. So we'll do that now. Right, so that's nice and thin now, and then I can now go and cut sections off of this and put it in the gap there where these two parts are going to be joined, and because this gold is thinner, it will melt faster and then it'll fill in that gap. So let's get on and do that. Alright, so as you can see, we've got the ring sitting in my pair of pliers, and there's a little piece of gold sitting on top that will be filling in that gap. So fingers crossed we can get it in one go. So let's do this thing. Right, it's not the cleanest, but nothing but a bit of filing and sanding will fix that up. Alright. Okay guys, so now that the ring is sealed together, it looks a bit ugly at the moment, but we're going to fix that. So I'm just going to do a time lapse of me filing down the ring, shaping it, and just getting it all nice and ready for being sanded down and polished up. So let's do this thing. Alright, so it's all filed down now. Now it's time for me to start doing a bit of sanding and get it all nice and smooth. So I'm going to use a sand block first, and that's going to make all the indentations show up, and then this will take it down real quickly. So yeah, here we go. I'm going to the 600 grit sandpaper. Now down to the 1000 grit. Right, time for buffing. Right, so this is my drill and the buffing wheel. So just grab a bit of the cut and polish, turn it on, put a little bit of it on, and then what you want to do, instead of putting your ring like that and going like this across the face, turn it to the side, and then it has less restriction, and then you don't use as much wax on it. So here we go. Beautiful. So guys, here's the final product. I've added in stripes, and all those stripes equal to one of my initials in my name. So I'm very happy with it, especially for everything done with hand tools. I'm very happy on the way it came out. Had a few bumps along the way, but it just makes the ring unique. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate everything that you do for me, and cheers. Have a good one.